This is a very beautiful place to be. Just ahead of us on the bow there is Karnak Island, and behind Karnak Island to the left is Garden Island. And this is a nature reserve for sea lions, so we can't actually swim on the beach, which is just in that alcove there. You don't. This is not a very good view to see the beach, but it really is a beautiful beach. I was in Croatia very recently, and we visited a beach that had been voted by the National Geographic in 2016 as the most beautiful beach in Europe. Well, it's hard to beat this beach. However, this beach is not available to the public. We can't swim in there. There are markers which you can't see at the moment, which prevent you from getting into that particular area. As I say, it's a nature reserve for the protection of sea lions, of which we saw a few.
So this is Karnak Island. We're anchored here for lunch. We just sailed from Fremantle, Fisherman's Harbour. Took us about 4 hours. We didn't have favourable winds, but it was interesting. In fact, very, very enjoyable. Lots and lots of education for me. We saw some sea lions. Well, I didn't see some sea lions, but my two instructors, Jamie and Sebastian, did. This is actually a nature reserve, so this is where the sea lions come hunting for their food. Now to actually swim on that beach, which does look.
I mentioned earlier about two types of sailors, those that race and those that cruise the blue oceans. And then I mentioned that racing was on the river. Well, I was referring specifically to West Australia, just from my own experience here in West Australia, that the racing sailors tend to race on the river. Obviously, there are numerous famous races around the world, the blue ocean. So Sydney to Hobart is not on the river, for example, but it was just my experience from being here in West Australia.
Saw a submarine. Quite interesting.
And this is a picture of the submarine that we passed while we were sailing, which was quite interesting. And that's the Charade, the ketch that I have been sailing, and they are one of our neighbours at Karnak Island that we saw. So this was quite instructive for me. My instructor had me go down below, look at the charts and figure out how we were going to get back. Now, the wind was unfavourable. In fact, to get back, we would have to beat straight into the wind. It would have been head on. So, as I'd been mentioning earlier, I had to try to figure out what direction we could sail into and achieving the best performance, and therefore draw an ideal line to get to where our port, our destination was, Fisherman's Harbour, and then draw other lines to see where we could actually sail to, how we would have to tack away and then tack back. And doing that would then allow me to see what hazards and difficulties we may encounter. In fact, there was a couple. There were some rocks that we had to avoid. So although I was going to be heading 45 degrees off wind, that would have brought me onto a rock, so we had to make an allowance for that, and that meant I came 65 degrees off. Then before coming to that rock, I then took another tack, in this case a starboard tack. So that was quite interesting, and it's something that helped me appreciate, as we sailed during the course of the day, it helped me appreciate more the way to get more speed from the boat, from the yacht. Fingers crossed my plan doesn't end in disaster and I lose my captain's license.
If we stay in between those two, if we stay between
50 and 75.
yeah, we're good.
Okay. So the first job is to, you want to get that main up, right?
Yep. Hey Jay, do you want to get the main up? I'm closing all the windows down here.
I'm happy to do it, you can help me.
Yep, you do the halyard, I'll do the sail test.
Right, so one second. So the halyard is at the mast. I've got to remember that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Everything's at the mast. I go up to the on the wind side. So I'm going to go up here. Sail ties. Right. So I'll do that. Yep. Gotcha. Shall I do that? Or okay.
Oh, that's alright. You'll get ready to pull that one up. I'll just move this out of the way so that it doesn't get... Yep. Okay, so I can see those are...
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, shall I start? You've got a tie on there. Oh, right, okay.
This was a very interesting exercise for me, very challenging. I had to basically leave an anchorage point, that is weigh anchor, and leave that point under sail and motor at the same time. Now with the head sail, with the main sail up, you had to leave the boom so that it could swing left and right depending on the wind. Otherwise it would be under sail, which would not be helpful while the crew are trying to lift the anchor up. So we had to motor enough in order to get steerage, but not too much as to run over the anchor. We also had to make sure that the sail didn't actually fill with wind in order for the yacht to start sailing. So I must say I didn't do a great job, and my instructor there had to come back and rescue the situation. So that's something else I've got to be working on, along with many other aspects of sailing. But dropping anchor, weighing anchor, moving off from an anchorage point, these are all skills that have to be developed. And using the motor, all good experience.